I've been really thinking back on my life and where I've been and what I've done. Um, as a kid, I was fucking wild. Um, Arrested at 15, spending the night in jail, getting just never cutting class, just really going wild and not giving a shit about high school because what the fuck was the point of it? Then art. It was always art. Art was a very exciting thing to me. I mean, I think going back to comic books, just looking at the artwork in it. I remember being incredibly jealous of Brendan Costello's drawings of Wolverine. Clearly remember just being livid at how well he could draw them. I always tried to get in there and, try and do something with art, figure art out. And I took the backwards route, honestly, when it comes to art. Then I go to college at JUCO, and, I get this just ungodly amount of money for an 18-year-old. Giving an 18-year-old $250,000 is fucking mind-blowing. So, I spent a good 20 grand of it at fucking JUCO. Just taking art classes, not really caring, but just being there, just wanting to be around artists and makers. Then, turning 21, I like to joke that, I turned 21 and then I blacked out and I woke up in basic training when I was 24. And there were crazy times in there. I dealt poker at bars. I played poker professionally. Not great at it, but I lived. There was one time I got called to a game that I always go to. They called me up. They're like, "Hey, you should come to the game tonight. We're gonna have all these people here." And it was at a bar, and it was gonna be after hours. And then I didn't go, and they got raided. So, fun punchline to that story: there was a guy that always played at this game, and I if he was there, I knew I was gonna make money. I just had him. I would just put him to the felt every time we played. So after the raids go down, turns out this guy was a contract killer. So yeah, that that was pretty nuts. Then I went to the Army. The Army was glorious. When I went in, I was here are the two things that spurred me to joining the military. My friend Dave Willis made a connection with somebody to go help out with an art class in southern Missouri. And I studied art history a lot. I studied in London and Paris for a little bit, art history, and so then they were like, "Yeah, come down." So I go down there, and I was not a good fit. I was supposed to teach it from a creationist standpoint, and I have no clue. Still don't know what the fuck that looks like. But anyway, I hop on a Greyhound bus to come home from Rolla, Missouri, and this child gets on. Now I'm 23, and now I'm 36, and I still look like, a 28-year-old that was just like ridden hard and put away wet. So I'm 23, and I see this child get on the bus with 2 bee bags, like the big green duffels. And it blows me away that this small child could go to war, in a war that was illegal, unjustified, and and there were a bunch of Vietnam vets, and everybody was patting each other on the back, and justifiably so. It was just so appalling to me, and I just kept thinking to myself that, like, I'm 23, this kid's 18, so I have 5 years less potential than this child does. Not to say I didn't have potential, but this young man still had a 5 more years than I did. But I kind of put it to the side. But I just wanted to take his spot. I didn't think that anybody should die in our wars, because I didn't believe in them. So then September rolls around, and there's a party at my apartment, and it's like 4 a.m. on a Monday, and somebody just says one of the most ludicrous, disgusting jokes I've ever heard, and I'm like, that's it, everybody get the fuck out. So the next day, hungover as shit, I went to the recruiter, and they said, well, you can either leave at the end of October, or you can leave next Friday and have airborne in your contract, which is an extra $150 a month jump out of airplanes. So I say, fuck it, let's go. Then the Army. The Army was glorious. There was a lot of great times, and I feel like I did a lot of good. Being a medic, so it's 90% luck, and 10% I was really fucking good. But I'm leaning on the hard 90% all luck that I did 7 years in the service, 2 combat deployments, and I never lost a patient. Very proud of that record. Then I got out. PTSD took just a massive hold on me. It was like getting a divorce from an abusive spouse, and they got to keep all the friends. I was so fucked up. That was getting off active duty, and then I still had some, reserve time left until 2015 when I was done, or 14 when I was completely done. Yeah. So PTSD, they had me on a shit ton of opiates. I lost a year. I don't know what the fuck happened. I know I was playing poker professionally. So then, so I'm messed up with PTSD. I'm messed up on opiates. And then the VA scandal happened where people were dying on wait lists to get in to see a doctor. They're dying from cancer. It's the big one. So I'm like, you know what? They're gonna keep me on these opiates, and they're just gonna keep giving them to me, and I'm either gonna die on the street with a needle in my arm, or I just need to fucking stop. I feel like I'm gonna die already, so might as well clear my head and live my dream. Just go do whatever the fuck. If I could be anywhere right now, where would I be? And that would have been a beach. And so I was like, fuck it. I quit my job and immediately hopped on a plane to Fort Lauderdale, got licensed as a dive instructor. It was so beautiful down there. If I didn't have to live in Fort Lauderdale, and if I didn't have an issue with this ear diving, man, I would have kept doing that and doing that and doing that. So, but the ear messed up, so I couldn't do it anymore. Came back, thought, fuck it. I need to make art. Art was the goal. I was always critical of our wars, And I knew that when I got back out, I could have a position to speak from authority on these wars and be hypercritical of not only my service, but the service of those around me. And I feel wonderful about that. So excited that I get to, get up every day, think about art, and work with art. So this has been like an abbreviated autobiography, but man, I should really just sit down and pin it all. But it's been a glorious life. It's been so wonderful. I've seen so many. So one of the craziest things I've ever seen. A friend of mine and I, we decided to go to the Duomo right after I got back from Afghanistan. And my buddy lived in Florence, so we go to the Duomo, and as we're walking in, it's like misting, and you can't see a thing outside, like no windows as you're climbing this dome. So it turns out they quit letting people in after us. And so we got to the top. By the time we got to the top, there was like an inch of snow on the ground, and it was just a blizzard. And my buddy and I sat on the top of the Duomo for like 30 minutes just watching a blizzard pound Florence. It was blissful. I have pictures somewhere in my thing. Yeah, dig around. I think about a lot about the people I've loved romantically and otherwise. The romantic ones sting. There have been four women that I know it was love. And one of them I know I was definitely the asshole in one of them. Oh, the heartbreak though feels so bittersweet, but feels, I mean, that's life, right? Really like feeling like there was a lovely connection between you and another person. And it's been wonderful. It's been beautiful. So I don't think what I was just diagnosed with is going to kill me. But that doesn't mean that surviving is insured. On Friday, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. And it is fucking me up. Most of the time, I'm not too worried about it. Most of the time, I'm just feeling fine. But, I had surgery a week and a half ago and to remove the testicle. And I just really pushed myself over the past couple days. So today, I just couldn't, I just laid around. And right now, it's like I'm either doing way too much or way too little. And it is something. The road ahead, I'm not afraid of. No, that's a lie. I'm very afraid about what's going to happen soon. But I'm scared shitless. But that doesn't mean I'm going to lay back. I need to just push forward. One foot in front of the other. And get the doctors, I don't know, man. I just don't know. I really wish I could end this on like a really positive note. But I'm scared shitless, man.